The camera flash blinds for a moment as King Charles III stands frozen at the podium, royal crest behind him, the world's press before him. His fingers tremble almost imperceptibly as he unfolds a single sheet of paper. The palace communications director shifts uncomfortably to his left. The king's voice wavers then steadies. After careful consideration and with profound regret, I am announcing my abdication from the throne, effective immediately. The room erupts in chaos. But in the back corner, one woman remains still, clutching a weathered envelope bearing Diana's distinctive handwriting. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, watches silently as 50 years of royal secrets begin to unravel. 3 weeks earlier, Princess Anne sits in her study at Gatcombe Park, watching the evening news. At 73, she remains the hardest-working royal, steadfast in her duties and fiercely protective of the monarchy as an institution. The broadcaster announces a special exhibit commemorating Princess Diana's humanitarian work, featuring previously unseen personal effects. And secure line rings. An old friend from palace staff, voice trembling. They are clearing the last of her personal items from storage. They found something, a letter, addressed to Prince William, to be delivered when Charles becomes king. They've destroyed it, Your Royal Highness. I saw them do it. Anne's teacup shatters on the floor. The letter, the one Diana had entrusted to her safekeeping years ago. The one containing the truth that could destroy the monarchy. The next day, Anne tries to contact William's private secretary. She's politely but firmly rebuffed. Later, the king's most trusted aide visits Gatcombe Park, ostensibly for a routine meeting about royal engagements. Your Royal Highness, there are concerning whispers about Princess Diana's personal effects. The king requests your discretion in these sensitive matters. For the good of the monarchy. That evening, she discovers her private office has been searched. Nothing taken, but the message is unmistakable. Her secure line rings again. And, darling, Charles's voice, unnaturally formal. I've been advised that your security detail needs restructuring. For your protection, of course. After a lifetime of unwavering loyalty to the crown, they've reduced her to this. But they've miscalculated badly. What the palace doesn't know, Anne and Diana had formed an unexpected alliance in the final years. Despite their differences, Anne had recognized Diana's genuine love for her sons and her determination to protect them. Diana had trusted few within the royal circle, but Anne's unflinching honesty had earned her respect. In her private study, Anne unlocks a hidden compartment in her antique desk. Inside lies an identical letter, sealed with wax bearing Diana's personal insignia. Along with it, a small voice recorder. Diana's voice, soft but determined, and, if you're listening to this, they've tried to bury the truth. I've left identical copies with 2 other people I trust. You know what to do. And reviews a small notebook containing private contacts Diana had cultivated over the years, journalists who couldn't be bought, former intelligence officers who'd grown disillusioned with the institution, and most importantly, individuals who owed their livelihoods to Diana's quiet intervention, and had been underestimated her entire life. Always in the shadow of her brothers, dismissed as merely dutiful and straightforward. No one had noticed her sharp intelligence, her strategic mind, or her unwavering commitment, not just to the crown, but to justice within it. And makes a single phone call to journalist Marcus Reed, who'd once promised Diana he would always seek the truth. The letter exists. I have it. Within days, palace sources confirm unfounded rumors of a missing letter, inadvertently confirming its existence. Financial markets react nervously. The monarchy represents billions in tourism and stability. And scheduled appearances are suddenly postponed due to health concerns. Her security detail is doubled, ostensibly for protection. Her communications are monitored, a fact she's well aware of, having spent decades navigating palace politics. What began as a family matter has escalated. Constitutional scholars appear on news programs discussing succession procedures. Commonwealth nations begin private discussions about their future relationship with the monarchy. Inside the palace, William confronts his father about the letter's existence. The conversation ends with doors slamming and aides exchanging worried glances. Anne watches from her study as additional security personnel patrol the grounds of Gatcombe Park. Charles has underestimated her resolve. Everything is already in motion. And may be isolated, but she's not alone. Diana's network activates at her signal. She meets Marcus in the British Museum, speaking quietly beneath the watchful gaze of Tudor portraits. She doesn't show him the letter yet, only establishes its provenance and contents. The letter reveals Charles' role in events leading to Diana's accident. Not direct involvement, but damning nonetheless. Marcus helps and create digital copies, stored on encrypted servers in multiple jurisdictions. Insurance policies, he calls them. And reaches out to Amanda Chen at the human rights organization Diana had championed. Together they establish a timeline for release should and be further isolated. Most crucially, she contacts Diana's former private secretary, now retired in Scotland. He confirms the handwriting, the seal, the paper. The authenticity is beyond question. Within the palace, unexpected allies emerge. Anne's reputation for brutal honesty has earned her respect from those disillusioned with palace machinations. Longtime staff suddenly remember documents they'd seen, conversations they'd overheard. Anne's strategy isn't built on confrontation but on the slow, methodical release of pressure. She arranges for evidence of the intimidation campaign against her to reach her cousin, a member of the House of Lords with unquestionable integrity. She waits. Patience has always been her strength. The confrontation occurs not with shouting, but in the quiet wood-paneled room of the Privy Council. And has requested a private family meeting, not with Charles alone, but with William present. Palace officials attempt to pack the room with advisors, but Anne refuses to enter until it's just family. And enters regally, facing not just William but Charles and Harry, who has flown in overnight. Her brother and nephews, bound by blood but divided by secrets. William speaks first. Aunt Anne, these allegations have caused considerable distress. Not allegations, William. Facts. She places Diana's letter on the table. I have not come to negotiate. I have come to deliver what your mother intended you to have. Charles begins to object, but Anne speaks with quiet authority. Charles, for decades I have defended this family, upheld its traditions, and kept its secrets. I watched as Diana was isolated, manipulated, and ultimately destroyed. I remained silent because she asked me to, for her son's sake. But she also made me promise that the truth would not remain buried forever. She turns to William. She wanted you to know, not to destroy your relationship with your father, but because she believed the monarchy could only survive through honesty and reform. And reveals that copies of the letter have already been secured. Any attempt to silence her now would only confirm its contents. Charles' face is ashen as William reads his mother's final words. The room is silent except for the ticking of a century-old clock. Is this true? William finally asks his father. Charles' silence is answer enough. 3 days later, King Charles addresses the nation, announcing his abdication. The official reason given is his desire to allow the next generation to lead. And watches from Gatcombe Park, vindicated but without joy. This was never about revenge. The letter's full contents are never made public. That wasn't Diana's wish. She wanted accountability within the family, not destruction of the institution. William visits Anne personally, not as the heir apparent but as Diana's son. He brings no entourage, no advisors. You kept your promise to her, he says simply. As did you, by insisting on the truth. William embraces his aunt. History will remember my mother's compassion and her work. But few will know of your courage. And smiles. That's as it should be. In the days that follow, Anne's security detail returns to normal. The surveillance ends. The palace announces a new ethics council, with unprecedented powers of oversight. At Gatcombe Park, and places the voice recorder back in its hiding place. Her work is done. Diana's final wish fulfilled. When William is crowned, his first act as monarch is to establish the Princess Diana Transparency Trust, dedicated to government accountability. At his side stands Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, her lifetime of duty now encompassing this final act of loyalty, not just to the crown, but to the truth that sustains it. Sometimes justice comes not with thunder, but with the quiet opening of a single letter.